Switch gears and talk about a topic that is going to be front and center in the lobbying world here over the next couple of years, and that is emissions, the new emissions standard, the battle brewing, as the White House yesterday announced the strictest auto emissions outlines to date. The goal is to drive EV adoption, but are the standards and deadlines achievable for the businesses impacted? Here to discuss and join the conversation is Jim Pethokoukis, economic policy analyst at the American Enterprise Institute. Already, Jim, several attorneys general in a variety of states, led, I believe, most notably by the West Virginia Attorney General, have come out and said that they are going to challenge these rulings from the EPA, which go even farther than the ambitions of President Biden in this area.
Yeah. Remember the fight about the gas stoves? This is going to be a far more contentious issue that I think will ultimately be probably one of the core issues in the next presidential election. And that is a problem with doing this kind of thing via regulation as opposed to Congress acting. If Congress passes something, it's hard to undo it. If the EPA issues a regulation, somebody else's EPA can undo the regulation, which creates a lot of uncertainty for business.
If a GOP president comes in the next election cycle, I would think that one of the first things they would do would be to overturn this. And we have just seen, with respect to mifepristone, the abortion pill, the power of a federal judge at the stroke of a pen to abrogate, get rid of any kind of regulation of a regulatory agency. In that case, the FDA. In this case, it could be the EPA.
You're 100% right, and that may actually come up in this 2024 presidential election. I'm sure if you're the Republican nominee going up likely against Joe Biden,
you bet your Tesla.
Yeah, they're going to be, banging the drum on the fact that Joe Biden's administration has put forward, or at least proposed some of these regulations that, in theory, could hurt business at the end of the day.
This is kind of, Jimmy, the rules as written govern. They don't say you've got to build more EVs, but effectively they do, because they require that the fleet standard of any manufacturer meet certain emissions targets, right?
And if they don't hit those targets, they can be subject to fine. So they say, here are these targets. It's up to you how you meet them, and obviously how they're going to meet them is by changing the mix of cars they sell. Now, of course, as automakers will tell you, they don't have complete control over that. People have to want to buy these cars. So I'm not sure if this is going to mean, bigger tax breaks down the line. Also, there's a whole infrastructure around this. Are we going to have the grid capacity to deal with this new future? Are we going to generate the energy to deal with this new future? Remember, it wasn't that long ago, California was telling people, stop charging your cars because we don't have enough energy.
Yeah, the marketplace, as you say, the market may say no. The ability of the country to build the infrastructure may not be there. We were talking about this yesterday, and so there are lots of bumps along this road from point A to point B.
What's interesting too is where we're going to see the auto industry land on this, right? Frankly, there are many auto
companies. They know it's coming. It's just the timeline.
But they've been really pushing out. At least this is from their PR side, how much they want to do more and more in EV. You look what GM's doing. You look at Tesla. Mary Barra's CEO of GM. Is she really going to be interested in something like this? She's very close to President Joe Biden. Is that how this is going to go? Maybe she's going to be thrilled about it. I'm not. But the oil and gas industry is something definitely to keep an eye on as we go forward with this.
Yeah.
Jimmy, a final comment on that, and how much power do you think they're going to have to push back here?
Listen, this is going to be an amazingly contentious issue. I was sort of joking about the gas stoves. It's going to be, listen, you have these, we talked about the attorney generals. You're going to have Republicans are going to view this not just as sort of a business regulation, bad for growth issue. They're going to view this as I guarantee this is also going to be a culture war issue. So if you're looking for the kind of issue that's going to get people riled up for economic reasons, cultural reasons, this is it. EPA can say what it wants. The president can say what he wants. There's a lot of other factors that will go into this, including, as we mentioned earlier, maybe eventually the Supreme Court.
That's a very interesting point, that this could be a part of the broader culture wars that go on here, that people don't want to be told that you must effectively buy this kind of car
And,
as opposed to that kind of car.
You know, the people on the coast don't understand when you have to drive 50 miles to work,
Right.
Yeah.
which is not uncommon in big states.
Yeah.
That an EV is a little bit less practical, and to be at least to feel like those concerns are being validated, not just brushed off by those who have no experience with that way of life.
Well, the SEC, on the other side of things, has been proposing a climate rule. Again, it has not gone into effect, and there has been, at least a report I read today, a pullback on the SEC moving ahead with that because of the threat of a legal action against the SEC. So the other question is, will there be legal pushback against this, and will that stall this ever being enacted by the time the election comes around?
And to go back to your earlier reporting, that's why the fact that this new entity is forming with it legal in its name tells you this is going to be fought in those courtrooms on a multitude of fronts.
Yes.
Ideally, you want the market to lead us to where we need to go.
And it is.
And I believe it is.
Yeah,
I believe it
totally.
is. I mean, that's my sort of free enterprise rant for the day. Brian, thank you.
Thank you.
Jim, always good to see you, sir.